So in the previous video, I discussed about what different corporations, retail associations, entities, politicians, lawmakers, etc. are doing against the PlayStation to show resistance to PlayStation against this stupid decision. In this video, I will cover that what we as gamers and as PlayStation customers can do to resist the PlayStation's anti-customer decision. So a concerning thing is that, by the way, this is an Austrian news outlet, and German is the language of Austria. So this article is originally written in German, but I'm using the translated version. So the headline is that Sony will rely on micro optics in the future. So what PlayStation or Sony has done is that it has invested around 30 million euros in repurposing the factory, which is being used to manufacture discs. And this factory is located in Austria. And currently 600 uh, discs are being made per day. And this was the original article which the journals used to write their own articles about PlayStation repurposing its disc factory. And one of the journals even made the mistake of mentioning that 600 discs are made per year or per month, though that's per day. So it's saying that around 50% output for factory will decrease from 2028. And the employees, which are responsible for manufacturing this, they are being retrained to manufacture micro optics. So the staff which enjoyed making discs, their morale is going to go way down because now they will be forced to manufacture a product which they themselves might not be interested in making much. So PlayStation has invested 30 million euros in pissing off its loyal customers, the customers that made PlayStation the success in the past and the success it has today with the PS5 generation as well. I showed in one of my videos that PS5, uh, even though the generation is not yet ended, but it's one of the most, but it's the currently is the most successful generation in terms of revenues and profits. So if PlayStation or Sony is in that much interested in making micro optics, they could have taken this 30 million as an additional investment to produce another product in the factory, or they could have opened another factory to manufacture this product rather than decreasing the production of discs, which the loyal or hardcore customers of PlayStation buy. So obviously investment has already been made, so this reduces the chances of PlayStation, no matter how much resistance we show. So chances of PlayStation changing its mind on its decision are low. But still, we as customers should not give up. And I'm even going to give you a few examples in which Sony bent the knee to its customers when the backlash was significant. So one thing we can do is destroy PlayStation's posts and tweets, do negative comments, do swearing, do whatever you like. And their posts are getting community noted as well, so that's also quite good. That kills the appeal of the posts in the eyes of the readers. So how we show this one post as an example. Majority of the comments are negative for physical disc. Identifies a video game, my pronouns of physical disc savage. Using the woke and corporate language against the corporation. Nothing more savage than that. Say physical media, say physical media. No thanks, I will be hitting some physical games. A real, a real Spartan says games. What a great post, man. What a great comment. Say physical games. Physical games better. And F Sony. No dis, no buy. So this is quite important. The reason is that third-party developers they pay PlayStation in thousands to make tweets or posts about their games in specific prime slots, so that their games can get marketed. And if third-party developers see that the posts of their games are made by PlayStation are getting destroyed by negative comments, and majority of the comments are overwhelmingly negative. Majority of the comments are overwhelmingly negative. Majority of the comments are overwhelmingly negative. So that make that may make third-party developers consider that why we are paying thousands of dollars to PlayStation when our posts will get negative comments, and that will draw negative attention towards our games. So it's better if we make posts of our games by ourselves rather than paying PlayStation thousands of dollars. So this will reduce income for PlayStation. And it's even getting, and their posts are getting community noted as well. And I saved in my bookmarks. This is the most interesting one. One of the accounts has made a compilation that when Sony announced this news of ending physical media for games. So it has so far it has gotten community noted multiple times by gamers. But what Sony is doing is that every time it gets a community note deleted or removed. But gamers being hard at work, whenever Sony deletes or removes a community note, gamers make a new community note. So savage. And another thing is canceling PS Plus subscriptions. A lot of gamers are doing it. And when a considerable number of users were canceling their PlayStation Plus subscriptions. PlayStation offering discount if you attempt to cancel PS Plus. So PlayStation started giving them discount so that they might not leave the PlayStation ecosystem because PlayStation Plus is one of the major sources of income for PlayStation, which I showed in one of my videos. And currently, I also wanted to buy PS Plus so that I can enjoy GT Online and the multiplayer of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered. But I'm boycotting PS Plus. So that's quite important. So obviously for timing it will not be easy. You will have to sacrifice on your live service gaming and multiplayer gaming and or sacrificing enjoyment for co-op games. But that's important if you want to see physical media alive in long term or after 2028. In one of my videos, I discussed quite about Dr. Sarkan Toto and Daniel Ahmad. So they are making comments like this that no, whatever you're doing, whatever you gamers are doing, that will not make PlayStation change its mind. So the analyst tried to do imaginary maths to discourage gamers from taking any stand against the PlayStation's decision. Around 50 million people continue, subscribe, 500 cancel and protest. That would be just 1% of the business gone. Of course, not enough to Sony to start rethinking. Digital is just too lucrative. So how can he say with accuracy that only 500,000 users will cancel PS Plus subscriptions? The number of gamers canceling PS Plus subscriptions, they might be above 500,000, they might be below 500,000. But what if the figure is above 500,000? And if PS Plus was giving discounts, so there is a reason for that. It means the cancellations are considerable. If it just had been 1% of the business, so probably PlayStation might not have given a discount to those who were canceling their subscriptions. So don't be discouraged by these analysts making comments like that no, this is not going to make any difference. I talked about these analysts that they get data for their analysis from their corporates, and they only can get data from corporates if they kiss their ass rather than being vocal against them. So if they show resistance against the Sony's decision, they are not going to get special treatment from the corporates like PlayStation for data. Another interesting thing which I would like to show you guys. So actually, I was quite a fan of Last Stand Media. I actually used to enjoy Colin Moriarty's takes on gaming and on different on gaming. But from few months, I started to note that he has become quite blind in his selling for PlayStation, and he's willing to go to any extent to make them appear good. He quite tried to portray Ghost of Yotha as a success, but in one of my videos, I've covered that till March 2026, sales are only 3.3 million. So that's not good at all for a flagship first-party PlayStation title. So that's why I unsubscribed from Last Time Media. Previously, I was a subscriber for Last Time Media, and though I've not yet logged in into my account, but I was a subscriber for Last Time Media.
Is it as simple as not buying the next console? Yeah. It's not only as simple as not buying the next console, it's as simple as stop using the current console.
Well, that's
Sell
kind
it
of the thing.
if you're really
Yeah.
that enthusiastic, if you're that, anyway, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, the next console. I mean, let's be real. It's gonna be very easy to boycott the next console because it's gonna be over $1,000.
Yeah, you can boycott it. In quotes.
Right.
So here you guys can see that Calling is trying to discourage users from taking any action against the PlayStation's decision or showing any sort of resistance. He's saying that you should completely turn off a system and don't turn on the PS5. So that doesn't make any difference because when you purchase PS5, money has already been earned by PlayStation. So if you're not using a PS5, so that is not going to make any difference to Sony. And if you have made a PSN account, obviously to use PlayStation, so you will still be part of their monthly active users. So even if you're not using PlayStation, but you have created an account, so you will be part of their monthly active users. So monthly active users, footnote 11. An estimated number of unique accounts that played games or used services online at PlayStation during the last month of the quarter and is based on company research and may be updated in future. So it's an estimate based on company research, may be updated in the future. So chances are high that PlayStation can easily manipulate a monthly active users to show itself appealing in the eyes of the investors. And PlayStation can inflate these numbers as well. So even if you are not logging in into PSN, if you are not turning on the PS5, not doing anything with the PS5, you will still be shown as a monthly active user. So that's bullshit. So, and the another thing which we guys need to do is, I'm also doing that even the games which which we have bought physically, we have to avoid buying DLCs for those games. So for instance, Stellar Blade, I was in the mood of buying both DLCs for Stellar Blade, but Right now, I'm boycotting Stellar Blade DLCs because that they will have to be bought from the PS Store, and that will count towards Sony's digital ecosystem income. So that's why I'm boycotting it, unless Sony backtracks on its decision. And boycotting or canceling pre-order for GTA 6 is not easy, but there are certain gamers who have cancelled their pre-orders for GTA 6. And I've not yet pre-ordered GTA 6 because pre-ordering can be done later. So even if we just order a few days before the release, so we can still get those pre-order rewards. So it's not like that if we are going to pre-order GT 6 early, only then we are going to get the pre-order bonuses. So so actually my cat interrupted in between, that's why. So but if you're too excited for GTA 6, then obviously it's not easy to let go of GTA 6. But a lot of gamers have pre-ordered GTA 6 digitally because it's not available. It's not avail. It will. It's not available physically currently. So in digital pre-orders, it's not going to be the case that all copies will be sold out, and then afterwards you might not get a copy of the game on time to play. You can even pre-order digital version few days before the release. So I will pre-order GTA 6 when Sony makes a decision in favor of the customers, or if Rockstar itself makes an announcement that disc version of GTA 6 will be released. So in that case, I would like to wait for a few months or even a year, and I will buy the disc version of GTA 6, and I will not buy it digitally on the PS Store. And humans cannot be perfect. Obviously, gamers are also humans. So 100% perfect boycott by gamers is not possible. Obviously, for those for whom GTA 6 doesn't matter much, for them boycotting GTA 6 is easy. But for those like me who are quite excited for GTA 6, obviously for them boycotting GTA 6 will not be easy. So if they can do it, that's quite good. Even if they cannot boycott GTA 6, but they are canceling their PS Plus subscriptions, they are not buying DLCs of other games from the PS Store, or they are not buying digital games from the PS Store. They are playing their part. So even if every gamer is showing resistance partially against PlayStation. So that matters. So a gamer being human cannot be 100% perfect, that it's going to boycott each and everything. And even certain idiots are making comments on social media and YouTube that even we have to stop buying discs. No, that will be a disaster. Those games which are getting released physically on PS5, and if you're interested in those games, you should buy the disc of those games to show PlayStation that yes, we still demand physical media, and that still demand for physical media exists. Even from my own country, I can give example that few days ago, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Racing got released. Majority of the gamers in my country bought disc version of that game rather than buying from the PS Store. Resident Evil Requiem, it sold majority of the gamers bought physical standard or deluxe version of the game. Crimson Desert, majority of the gamers bought disc version of the game. Pragmata, majority of the gamers bought the disc version of Pragmata. So do whatever you can to show resistance against PlayStation's decision. Because Colin is a golden buff Sony, he's not bothered by the PlayStation's decision. Because obviously he gets preferential review from PlayStation. He gets quite a number of games from PlayStation for free, so he doesn't have to pay for those games. But we have to pay for those games, so it matters for us. And in recent times, developers, executives, etc. of PlayStation like Shuhei Yoshida, Neil Druckmann, they have been featured as guests on Last Stand Media's podcasts. So do you think that if Last Stand Media is going to show active resistance against PlayStation, so PlayStation's developers, executives, etc., are going to appear in Last Stand Media's podcasts or videos? No. So he's trying to discourage gamers from taking any sort of action against the PlayStation. So don't get discouraged. And even I can show you that in this recent post, he is getting destroyed by gamers for being a moron. Let's not forget this was after you said for years showing away everyone else who dealt with the situation and had zero sources at Sony to contact, and only after it happened to you did you finally care. Then came the I was wrong speech. Don't pat yourself on the back for this. Very easy for you, then we are Sony's mouthpiece. You are privileged. 99% of PS gamers are not. I already talked about this in previous video that obviously calling out VIP treatment from PlayStation and his issue of PSN account was resolved, but it's not going to happen to us. You're missing the point. You did it after you were affected. Since only digital doesn't affect you, you do nothing. But maybe in some indirect way it does affect you. If only everyone had your amount of followers and reach for Sony to stop fucking ignoring us all. You only cared when it affected you. I can't see how lack of physical games doesn't come back to bite you somehow. This guy feeds his family and hates his house by glazing Sony. Don't expect any criticism from him unless it's costing him money. You are able to correspond with Sony, the rest of us do not. Sony has ignored us and hasn't corresponded with anyone. Even developers and business partners were blindsided from this. So he absolutely deserves to be destroyed on his posts. So now I'm going to give you to few, now I'm going to give you a few examples in which PlayStation backtracked from his stupid decisions. So in 2021, PlayStation announced that it will discontinue PS3 and PS Vita PS stores. I quite like this paragraph in which Jim Ryan was owned by the gamers. Clearly, we made the wrong decision here, and the stores for PS3 and PS Vita will continue to live on. However, so after a significant backlash, PlayStation backtracked on its decision. Another one. So uh, Helldivers 2 was released for PC as well, and it's the only live service success PlayStation has. So for PC gamers, it made a requirement of making a PSN account. So obviously PC gamers already use a Steam account, etc. So they were quite bothered by it, and they showed a lot of backlash against the PlayStation. So after that, PlayStation backtracked. Helldivers fans, we have heard your feedback on the Helldivers to account linking update, the May 6 update, which would have required Steam and PlayStation Network account linking for new players and for current players beginning May 30. We will not be moving forward. We are still learning what is best for PC players, and your feedback has been invaluable. Thanks again for your continued support of Helldivers too, and we will keep you updated on future plans. So, even I found the original post, and even on this, it was they were destroyed by gamers. And another example, when Stellar Blade was released for PC after 1 year being PS exclusive. So PlayStation was the publisher of Stellar Blade on PC, not Shift Up. Shift Up now has become the Shift Up has now become independent. Means that it has itself invested in a self-publishing department. So Stellar Blades, despite being single-player game, it was not available for sale in more than 100 countries because in those countries there was no support for PSN. So Sony didn't let initially shift up sell Celebrate in the countries in which there was no PSN support. But after a lot of backlash from the PC gamers, Sony backtracked on this stupid decision. And another thing was that Shift Up took notice of it, and it ensured customers that it will try its best. It was at that time negotiating with PlayStation, the publisher, and Stellar Blade was quite well received by the gamers, and it's at that time it sold decent on the PS5. So Shift Up had bargaining power to bargain with PlayStation regarding this region lock. So Shift Up was successful in its negotiation. So the region lock was lifted, and Stellar Blade, the PC version, was made available for sale even in those countries in which there was no PSN support, so that more gamers can buy Stellar Blade. And obviously, such restriction on PC doesn't make sense for a single player game. So I think so. Sarkan Toto and Daniel Ahmad, they forgot these examples while trying to portray PlayStation as a god that once PlayStation made a decision, it will not backtrack from it. There are multiple examples. I mean, I would also like to show that Push Square being PlayStation shell, although it also called out PlayStation over its stupid decision. But now I think so. It's selling for PlayStation, so that it can also continue getting preferential treatment or the special treatment from PlayStation. Indie devs unfairly attack over Sony's decision to stop making this, all because PlayStation retweeted them. So Push Square is trying to gaslight us gamers that what we are doing is, oh no, is bad. You guys are harming the developers. You guys are harming the mental health of the poor indie developers. Please be nice. Please don't show resistance against the PlayStation in the tweets. And in one of the posts, I showed you guys comments. And I think so no one was angry at Halo. So all the negative comments, they are being directed at Sony and PlayStation. So gamers are not pissed off at indie developers or their games. They are mad at PlayStation. So Push Square is just highlighting comments of few bad apples, which are also hating with who are hating on the game unnecessary, who are hating on the games unnecessarily. But majority of the customers, no diss, no buy. That's not hate on the game. We need physical games or no deal. So yeah, it's not good that the majority of comments on the posts of third party games are negative comments. But that's one of the few ways in which we can show resistance to the PlayStation. So if we are not going to show any resistance to PlayStation, so there is a saying that if you give an inch, they take a mile. So obviously PlayStation is going to proceed with its decision, and once 2028 arrives, so there will be no chance of PlayStation backtracking its decision. So the time to show resistance is now. So don't be manipulated by such posts, and don't stop showing resistance against PlayStation. This is Push Square being PlayStation's golden boy trying to discourage you from taking any initiative. So ignore that shit. Ignore this shit.